Curtis K.I. Wire.
DIYers, welcome here, 10:15 Wednesday, wherever you are reporting from. We appreciate you being here today. I am joined by two special guests once again. Wednesday, last time we linked up on this channel went really, really well, and so we've been having conversations of continuously getting in here, talking about some of the things that are going on. But I want to once again, first of all, welcome my guests, Touré and King Green from the Rap Latte podcast.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Honored to be here.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, the event that brings us here, there's a few things we're going to talk about in this particular episode, but I wanted to start with, first of all, rest in peace to D'Angelo and, sending sincere condolences to his family and especially the son that has gone through a lot this last year with losing a mother and a father. So I wanted to start there. Touré, I feel like you give such unique perspectives. There were stories that I was learning about D'Angelo, but I wanted to remember him and do it in a way that that all three of us can do so. But the story you were sharing the other day gave me a new perspective on someone who has just been a staple in my household. My mom played him. I remember when I was younger, and then when I started to get into my own musical love affair and journey, then he became a part of my journey later on. My entire family. But Touré, you want to start things off, man, and remembering such an icon and legend in D'Angelo?
I mean, brilliant guy. He grows up in Virginia in the Pentecostalist church. His older brother told me they never thought he would be anything other than a musician because he was already like that good and that into it as a kid. And he was like, I would just play any and everywhere. He goes to New York as a teenager as part of a trio to try to get signed. And the label was like, we don't know about them. We want him. What's he got going on? Right. And after that, the solo album started. Brown Sugar was a huge song and album. But I remember a lot of people were like, this is dope. There's a lot of talent, but it's a little unfocused, right? These feel like sketches rather than songs. He takes 5 years to make Voodoo, which is an incredible amount of time between albums. But Voodoo is this towering soul music achievement that you can put alongside almost anything. And this is where the student becomes one of the peers. This is one of the great talents of the modern era, as far as being able to sing, being able to play, being able to give you deep feelings. But I saw it. He was amazing as a student. I sat with him and Questlove. We watched a 1964 James Brown video from the Tammy Show, and they're microscoping. Look at how he moves here. See what he did that? He's signaling the band. The audience does not realize, but when he does it, he's signaling the band. And look how the light cue is right on point. And look how he dances there. And they're doing that with Al Green, with Curtis Mayfield, with Sly Stone, with George Clinton, with Aretha Franklin and Nina Simone and Minnie Riperton, and just breaking down every bit of their music and their artistry. They called all these people Yodas, and the videos or the books about them were called treats. And they're just trying to deal with as many treats as they can and study as much as they can. Questlove, when I was with them, said to D, what would your life be like if you hadn't watched that George Clinton video? And he said, totally different.
Are you speaking specifically like with the Soulquarians and sort of the combination of producers and singers that came into this community? And are you talking about more specifically to, I guess, sessions that he had with Questlove himself?
Well, all of them were deep students, so about Erica and Lauren as well. But I know D'Angelo and Quest especially were sitting there like studying soul music history like deeply. So, I mean, this is like a Michael Jordan situation in which you are incredibly talented and then you are the hardest worker at the same time. And, what he did on Voodoo was just this towering achievement of soul music, of feeling, of pathos, of playing, of just everything was so beautiful and deep and powerful. And And I mean, we can get into how Untitled changed his life, not necessarily for the better, but that's a major chapter in all this.
Yeah, I definitely want to save that because that was something that, as much as I thought that I had digested and watched from documentaries, because a lot of this stuff when Brown Sugar comes out, I think I'm probably 10. And so, my interests are still somewhat, diving into music, but my mom is just like, when I'm going to the beauty salon with her, I'm hearing the music that's blaring in the background. Not that I'm going to the beauty salon. I saw your look, Touré. I'm not going to the beauty salon. That's not what I'm saying.
I didn't think
if you go to the beauty salon, it's all right. Like, what's good?
I didn't think
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Because Touré,
you be there.
I see you taking notes mentally.
You got
I
that
see you
wavy
taking notes.
hair.
Right. In 95, that's what you were doing, Curtis, huh? No, but I just say that as just being such a cultural staple. There's certain sounds, there's certain voices when you think of an Al Green, when you think of Isley Brothers, there's certain things, there's certain sounds that almost have a smell to them and a nostalgic memory attached to them. His voice, the very texture of his voice, as soon as you hear the first few notes, he doesn't even have to say anything. I've been in studio sessions with a singer and I'm like, oh, you and your D'Angelo. You didn't even say anything yet. But that's just how much of an icon and staple it was. King Green, what about for yourself, man? What was sort of your first experiences learning about a D'Angelo?
Brown Sugar was on repeat first time it came out, and like I'm a big Marvin Gaye fan, like a huge Marvin Gaye fan, and that's how I felt about D'Angelo. Like it was just like in the same realms of that, just because like my dad loved music. They played like every Sunday there was just music, and as far as all Black American music, because there was so much music in our house, it was Curtis Mayfield, there was Marvin Gaye, and D'Angelo was something that came with like my brother and my aunt in that time period or whatever. And Untitled, that album Voodoo, that was everything. That's the rapper's neo soul album. There's so many beats on that album that you just want to rap to. Like Devil's Pie is my favorite song from
Incredible
D'Angelo, because it has that Wu-Tang almost like beat, but that bass line that you get from like the Roots, and then the soulfulness from him, like it's like a mixture of Marvin Gaye and James Brown, because it feels effortless, but there's so much songwriting in it and emotion, and there's a narrative that goes through Devil's Pie that you're actually grasping when you actually listen. And this is the first time I'm listening to it. I'm like, this nigga's deep, but it sounds like I know, like I've heard this before. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but he's flipping it in a different way. And then it's on a rap beat that I want to like write raps to. You know what I'm saying? So the number one, that's King of Neo Soul. And I love Neo Soul. Neo Soul is like my favorite genre outside of rap and indie music.
The on the low, as Quest and D'Angelo told me, Voodoo was meant to be an audition tape for Prince to get Prince to let them produce his next album. So they were like, we're gonna make something that even Prince will be like, yo, fuck with them. And so, to that point,
did Prince ever say anything to him?
Well, this is all I know about that.
Oh, okay.
There was a show at Tramps. Prince would do the concert and then he'd do the late night show at a club, whatever. Tramps is a 200-300 person venue in New York, so like a small size club, mid-sized club. That after the Long Island gig or whatever, it was Brooklyn gig. They were like, this is before the internet, so the publicist like, yo, go to Tramps. 1 a.m. Prince, D'Angelo, and Questlove come on, and they did about 20-25 minutes. There was a long groove on Brown Sugar. There was a groove on something else of Prince's. And this is like symbol period-ish, when Prince had like repudiated his earlier music. And he was like, I'm not doing those sexual things anymore.
That's right,
And Questlove is so impish. He's always like, the kid who wants to like pull a prank in school just to see what the teacher would do. And he's like looking at D and like doing all his winking and whatever the fuck. And then he calls for them to go into head, which he knows Prince will probably not do, but let's see. And of course, as soon as Prince realizes that he's called for head, I remember the sense of he disappeared. Like I blinked and he was no longer on stage. Like I don't remember Prince walking off the stage. I remember just like, oh, he's no longer on stage. Is he coming back? He's coming back, right? He's getting, and it's kind of like, damn, Quest, you kind of fucked it up for everybody. Then we just stayed in the pocket. We could have done this for 2-3 hours, but you was like, I want to see if he'll do head. Oh my god! So I remember Claire Danes was there, and was it Sean Lennon?
Who's Claire Danes?
Was there? You're kidding, right? Homeland. She's a big actress. Homeland.
So a white woman actress. Okay, got you. I thought Renee Zellweger. What are you talking? I don't know what we're talking about.
You know about Renee Zellweger. Anyway,
that's the name I know. I like that name,
Renee
Zellweger.
I mean, one thing with D is that he saw himself as a fat kid, right? When he does Brown Sugar, he's pudgy, right? And I think relative to artists, he's fat, right? And I'm not dissing him. I think this is the way he saw himself. Over the 5 years of making Voodoo, he ate better, he got a trainer, and while they're building this album, he's working out every day. So he's chiseling and creating this body. By the time we get to Voodoo, he looks about as good as a human being can, right? Like there's a lot of professional athletes who are like, damn, I wish I looked like that. And when it came to do the Untitled video, which is iconic and made him bigger than he even was, that was the idea of his manager, Dominic Trenier, who is also my friend. And he is no longer with us also. And Dom was like, okay, so we're just going to show your body because you look incredible. You're going to like turn and it's going to be fucking amazing. Very, very simple concept, but very dope. I don't know what the vibe was before the day of the shoot, but on the shoot day, he was like, I don't want to do it. And I think he had this feeling of like, I'm a fat kid, you know, or, you know, like you said, body dysmorphia, the way some people, especially some women, like they may be a 10, but they look in the mirror and they see something else. And that's kind of where he was. And he did not want to get out of the car. And Dom had to get in the limo and be patient and manager him up. Right, I'm sure you two maybe been talked into or had your friends talk to the shit.
Definitely been. I've never been told to become a sex symbol. I'll tell you that right now. That was never something that anybody said. Take your shirt off, Curtis. I think this is the next level for you. I know that never happened to me. I haven't been blessed enough.
You haven't lived until you reach that level. Clearly,
I haven't worked out, clearly enough to be in that position.
So he does the video because the manager managed and got him to obviously to do the thing, and the video was iconic. It was viral before the word viral was a thing. It was massive. It was 80 spins a week on MTV. Everybody in the country was like, oh my God, this guy's amazing.
It was also productive. I mean, not productive, provocative.
Yes. But
like
after that, he starts doing shows and they're screaming, take your shirt off. We want to see your abs. We want to see your chest. We want to see your arms. And he's thinking, I spent years building myself, working on this album. I'm an amazing musician. I got chord changes. I got freaking shit for you. And you just like take your shirt off? And he was dispirited by that. And he lost interest, I think, or was hurt by that reaction. So that's why he takes a 14-year break, because he's like, fuck this. I don't want to be part of this. I don't want y'all screaming for my and he gets fat again after Voodoo. And so this is part of why his career sort of went the way it did as far as this super long break. By the time he came back, people were like, I think the break, how long was Dre's break between like the Chronic and the was like not that long, right? I mean, it was like, we'll never get another Dre
like
out.
10 years. It was like 10 years.
So D'Angelo's was even longer, right? I mean, there was a while when
and came back with a great album. That's the thing. That's so
you love the Black Messiah album.
I love it. I love it. But maybe I'm a just D'Angelo fan. You know what I'm saying? But I like Black Messiah a lot. Really Love? Come on now. Really Love is like one of my favorite D'Angelo songs, and that's on Black Messiah. But I want to stay there in that moment and remembering that space of like how impactful that was, because that was his like, wow, like meteoric moment in that. And it's like being a real artist, a real soulful artist like that. I could understand also you may have some body image things because you used to be a certain way, and then you're also, this is not even your idea, and then you're pushed into the situation. It's different when you become ridiculously famous and everything was your idea. You know, it's a big difference. It's the same thing that all artists say. I know, Curtis, you could relate to this, that like, I rather win or lose off of my own ideas, so I can't feel bad or about like, man, I shouldn't have listened to this manager. I shouldn't have listened to that A&R. I shouldn't have listened to this other artist who told me what to do. If I put out this song and nobody likes it, at least I put out this song and I'm okay with it and I love it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I feel for him on that, because it's like he did a video that got him all the attention, but it wasn't for the thing that he wanted the attention for. And that's you the one that told me about that, and like later on, years later, and I only found out about that when you told me about that, I think like what, a month ago, and that's crazy. That was crazy to me. I was like, I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know about his relationships. I just knew about the music and how he sounded like otherworldly.
You talk about Marvin Gaye, and obviously we're all huge, gigantic fans of Marvin Gaye.
Yeah,
I feel like if we go into the soul music world, right, and so we're just in that, I mean, Marvin Gaye is on one side of town, and like Sly Stone and Curtis Mayfield are on a different side of town, and D'Angelo lives closer to them than to Marvin Gaye. And that's not to rank anybody, but just sort of the vibe and where you're coming from and what you are trying to say as a soul music artist. I think he's more to the Sly Stone, Curtis Mayfield side of things than the Marvin Gaye side of things. You agree with that?
There's a lot of consciousness in his music that I think that I attribute to like, you know, the What's Going On album and Marvin Gaye, as well as James Brown. So that's why I kind of put him there. And the effortlessness that James Brown has in his writing and his performance, which it feels like he's scatting or just coming off with it on the fly, and sometimes he's not. That's what I feel in D'Angelo's music, and that's why I do that. But I agree with Curtis Mayfield, and then it just felt more street, right? Curtis Mayfield felt like it was just more street, but I think there's a consciousness and a sweetness in Marvin Gaye's, why I attribute it to that. So I feel like he's the perfect medium, and that's why I
was going to say also there's a connection to the church, our roots of the church as well.
100%.
Right. And that's another thing that I wish I had insight on, that I'm asking you, Touré, beyond the being self-conscious about how his body had evolved and the responsibility he kind of took on with becoming this symbol. I wonder, you know, how the dynamic of the relationship he had with his dad, who I believe was a pastor, right? That was
His dad was a Pentecostalist preacher in Richmond, Virginia.
So I'm saying,
shout out Virginia.
So I'm saying, you know, we know how that Marvin Gaye father relationship, you know, how tumultuous that situation was. I wonder how much that affects, you know, how much am I straying away from my foundational, you know, upbringing and my beliefs, and sometimes the industry will try to pull you in places, and I wonder if that was ever you know, an issue.
I never talked to him about that, so I don't know about that, but I do know you can hear the church and gospel in his music, right? And like, yes, there's the hip hop influence, but like the church weighs heavy on him, and like in a way that's like, that puts him like on the Al Green side of town, where I'm like, I know you spend a lot of time in the church just listening to your music, even when you're talking about women. I can tell the church matters to you. And like D'Angelo, I'm like, you know, you just switch these songs up a little bit. We can do this on Sunday.
Right. The chord progressions too. When you're thinking about just how the way he maneuvered his way through these keys, there's a reason why it feels so good. Like it's the same thing as, just isn't the same thing. There's a lot of the same DNA in praise and worship. And that the music is meant for you to feel like I made a good decision coming here on Sunday. All the stuff that I'm dealing with, I have an opportunity to just be in this moment and just, let the music enhance my mood and enhance what I'm going through. And I feel like a lot of that stuff found its way to a lot of his most popular songs for sure.
I mean, as I'm trying to map where he lives in the town of soul music, he lives right next to Prince. I'm not saying as good as Prince. I'm saying his influence, how he's approaching, especially like Purple Rain and pre-Purple Rain Prince. Untitled is him trying to do a Prince song. Like, okay, you have a door. Let's compete with a door. Let's try to do something like that. Okay, we've come up with Untitled, and like, okay.
And
like,
I found that out in reverse. Once I got into Prince, which is later on in life, because I don't know, as a kid, I was just such a Michael Jackson fan that I was like, Prince is the antithesis of Michael Jackson. For some reason, I thought that. But I was into D'Angelo. I'm into Andre 3000 so much. And then when I get into Prince, I'm like, these niggas is just biting Prince. I didn't know. I didn't even know that. And it's like beautiful to see how they could express themselves so uniquely within his foundations and innovations, right? But I want to speak on a part about the church thing too. It's like the album's called Voodoo. Like this is a spiritual battle in this whole album too. And the idea of like, am I doing the right thing? Is like, what is my spirituality and my desires and the negatives and positives of that. And that's why I like Devil's Pie so much, because he has a criticism of materialism and spirituality in that song. And he's not only criticizing the world around him, he's criticizing himself. And I think that's why I like him so much.
Well, you talk about the war, that war is real. But they talked to me about they felt themselves at war with, let's say, commercialism. And they wanted to make music that was like real, honest, intimate, like instruments and like from your muse and not related to trends and producers and the way the industry is going. And so it was like, we are warriors and we consider, Erica and Lauren and, Jill as like other warrior. All the whole neo soul thing was like, we are warriors fighting for the soul of music. And like, whoever is like commercial, maybe they're thinking about Drew Hill, fucking Cisco, thong. We want to make real, genuine music that like stand in Curtis Mayfield's face and Sly Stone's face and say like, look, we made this. Like, we're not embarrassed. And we lived up to your legacy. And so that was a huge part of this of like, we are at war with the current bullshit that the industry is giving you. And like and they use that word war, and they were all about like, we're going to inspire. And when I think about Frank Ocean, SZA, her, Glover, definitely help me. Who else? Like, there's definitely people who came out of D'Angelo's influence.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna say I think what's something that is so rare about a D'Angelo is that if you listen to a Voodoo, if you listen to different songs from the catalog, unless you know about D'Angelo's history, it's kind of hard to pinpoint the timeline. You know how certain artists are married to the year of music that they made? From the sonics of their music to, the type of drums that they're using, the type of keys the type of notes they're singing. Like, we know a 90s R&B singer when we hear one. That to me is something that the evergreen value of his voice, the evergreen value of the concepts. You were talking about timeless, right? You were talking about Devil's Pie, and this is gonna sound crazy, but this is just show you how young I was. Devil's Pie took on a whole new meaning when I saw it in Belly.
Okay.
Last song played at Belly. So I heard the song and I had one sort of perspective on it, just kind of listening to it, seeing it matched up, with that timeline of the story of what's happening in the movie for Belly and people going, just the way that Nas's character was changing his direction. It started to have a whole nother light to it. But I'm like, you could literally do that today in a new Jordan Peele movie or whoever movie you want to put it in, and it'll still have a newness to it that a lot of music does not carry.
No, it definitely is timeless and not tied to the trends of the moment. Like you said, it doesn't like make you think, oh, this is from 2000. And there's other albums that are like I love it, but that is very much of its moment, and it doesn't have the same resonance. No, these songs are Untitled is just as fresh and of the moment as it was when it came out.
Drop it right now.
You could drop. I think Africa also was the one that like Quest and some of like my super music heads were like, that's the fucking joint where he really fucking went to another level. But I think you can hear a lot of this comes out of jamming. They're not like sitting down writing something and then playing it, but they're like, we're gonna watch a Curtis Mayfield, an Al Green, a James Brown video, and then we're gonna just jam for an hour or two until D or Questlove is like that. Pick up on that. We'll roll back the tape. That was dope. Build on that. Expand that. Make something out of that. So I mean, I think there's an organicness to the compositions because it comes out of let's just play and see what happens.
Yeah, that's something
that Motown did it as well.
I'm about to say that's something. Go ahead. What? You good? You good?
Oh, I was just saying, no, that's how Motown did it, and that's how what's it called?
Somewhat.
Disney.
Holland writing shit for them. I mean, they had their
in the music part. I forget if it's called the Something Brothers. The music part, they would jam at all the musicians. They would jam and go out and do their gigs at night. Then come into the studio and everything that got people going crazy the night before, they would use that and have the riffs. But then the writers would like write a beautiful pop song on top of it. But the music and why that music feels so good is because those niggas was cracking out. And cracking out, they're just out having fun last night. Come with this, like, yo, you remember that shit that we played last night? And everybody was dancing. Let's put it in this record.
D is not giving you hooks and great choruses and like nobody else could do these records. This is D'Angelo's talent. A cover of a D'Angelo song would be meaningless because you don't have D'Angelo's talent. These are vehicles for D'Angelo to show you how brilliant and great he is, right? It's not like, well, we wrote, I mean, they're great songs, but it's not like I wrote a great song that any other artist could do, right? I mean, they loved also. Let me tell you this little story because I did hold his hand and I remained a man while doing it.
Did you look into his eyes? That's what you messed up.
99.9% of the time when I'm doing these like hangouts with artists for like Rolling Stone or whatever, they kick you out before the show and they let you come in the backstage after the show. But before the show, we're like stressed, we're prepared. You can't be back here.
Right.
But I interviewed D'Angelo on the first album. So he's like, I already know this guy. I know Questlove since the beginning of his career, like when they were the Square Roots and it was just 4 of them in Philly. So, I mean, he's like, oh, he's cool. And D knew me. So I'm hanging out backstage before the show. So we're kind of like getting ready to like get into stuff and I'm chatting him up. And then Quest says, okay, let's go into the prayer. So now we circle up to go into a big group prayer with all the musicians. And I was standing next to him when Quest said, let's do it. So now I'm holding hands with this left hand with D'Angelo on my left, and we're holding hands. And I can feel the vice grip, the strength of his fingers. All these rings are like biting into my fingers and all the shit. You can feel like the baby oil and all the shit. And so when I finish that, I'm like, oh my God, like I just had an experience that all of his fans would love to have. They experience him sexually. They want to hold his hand and more. I can tell you what it's like to hold his hand. So the whole lead of my story was you are holding D'Angelo, or D'Angelo is holding your hand. And this is what it feels like to hold as in the minutest detail. That it's like a whole paragraph of like, this is what it feels like for D'Angelo to hold your hand. And I feel like it really, and the article was titled D'Angelo is holding your hand. And I was like, it's on the web, you can find it. And like, I really wanted to communicate what that felt like. And I think we really did. And on top of that, and I had to check my notes because most musicians, especially those who use their hands, are very delicate with their hands. They don't want to be really shaking hands too much because people be shaking hands hard. Not them. his whole thing. I'm gonna smack five with you as hard as I can to show you your family. So after we did the hand holding, and he's like, "Come here, nigga," and it's like, bam, 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 and I'm like, "Yo, my shit hurts." I feel like I just got beat. He's in the club though, but like, and he's going around doing this to everyone, like, really hard handshakes. I'm like, y'all niggas is crazy. I thought y'all gonna go play the keyboards or some shit. Don't you want to protect? No, they love that shit. That was part of their internal culture and everything. So
he said, "You're the only one that's not going to be able to play keys tonight." That's what he told me. He said, "You're the only one that can't play tonight." Well, see, and I that's something that I hope, you know, when as we remember them, as other people remember them, and as you see these conversations happening online, that's something that I hope that younger artists and singers are you know, at least taking a note from, is that sense of community, that sense of like the idea of artists coming together to watch game tape. You know, still today for a lot of artists sounds like, what do you mean? But I remember, like, me and my boys coming up, I had a homie of mine that was he was just as big of a Prince fan as I was. And he would tell me, like, man, at 20 years old, Prince was playing this X amount of instruments. You ever see this video of him, you know, the same night I think Michael Jackson was here and then James Brown's. So I think he took that note from Questlove because he was a musician himself. But that sense of community does so much for very small pockets and portions of music that make a huge impact on what you're doing or on a impact on your audience. And so much, I felt like, of collaboration after the pandemic is the complete opposite of that, where people are mailing in, you know, parts of a beat.
Digital collaboration.
Yeah, so it's digital, and I feel like that's so needed. Oh, that's so needed now.
It's more we do the research, and the more, like, the whole, I always get their name messed up, but the Soul Clarions, right? Is that
you good?
And then the Native Tongues, the Funk Brothers during Motown, that Miami sound when it came to disco, or the what was it, Philly? The other sound. There was certain pockets where things happen, where a community's around. The Virginia sound when it came to hip hop and that whole. There is always like a community or people who are coming together and doing something together and moves the music, especially Black music, forward, which all this shit is Black music, right? So that's moving this shit forward. And as you do your history, you realize that. And I think that's why that's like you said, it's missing, but studying is so important as well as the community, because that studying that you're talking about I didn't know about that. And it makes me realize and connect the dots of, like, when I was like studying DC music, because I was just like, this is where I'm from. I'm from this area. What comes from this area? It's like punk, soul, go-go.
Mm-hmm.
I made sure I knew everything about those three things.
I mean, I know you study, because I hear you talking about it, and you can talk about, like, well, there's this sound going on the left side of Minneapolis that's totally different than the right side of Minneapolis.
Yeah.
A lot of artists are not as deeply studied as some, right? And I think even you go to the league, not everybody is working as hard as they possibly can, right?
No, yeah.
Same shit. Not everybody is working as hard as they possibly can. And D, for sure, was one of those people who was definitely working as hard. Look, Questlove told me the reason why it took them 5 years to get Voodoo done is because they were spending all this time studying.
That should tell you something. That's beautiful. That's and then you appear with a classic. I think that's the funny part of that. I didn't get to say that. The funniest part about this is here we are celebrating that as a classic album, and he's like, I wasn't worried about y'all. I was trying to get Prince to I was going to get his trust to say, you know what, y'all come into the studio and produce this next album for me. He was shooting way above the target of just another classic in my catalog.
Well, I think you make your best work when you try to impress your influences.
Sure, I can see that.
When you try to mimic your influences, you're finding yourself. When you try to impress your influences, I swear I hear that from every artist. It's like, I want this person to think that I'm dope. And then you're going to make or even if it's your boy, it's like, I want these niggas right here to think that this is dope as shit. And then
That's what Three Stacks was on the Love Below, and I wonder if that's the reason why he don't want to make no more music now. He like, I'm done here. I did
this.
All my influencers said they rock with what I do.
we can get into the three stacks of it, but I think that's a really interesting point, Green. Like, and as an artist in any genre, writing, music, whatever, you have to think about the audience, right? You have to you don't just, you might be the audience, but you have to think, how will the audience receive this? How will they feel? What do they know? What do they not know? What do I need to tell them? And I generally think about, sort of the average reader. I don't usually think about, God, what could I write that Zadie Smith would be like, yo, that was dope. Like, and if you thought like that, it would add a lot of pressure, but it would make you work upward in a way that, like, okay, I think about the average readers and like, how can I impress them? How can I interest them? How can I engage them? Thinking about, like superstars you admire within your genre, that would,
I think that's really important.
Other level.
It is.
LeBron did that. It's like, I want to be better than Jordan. Yeah. And you come out LeBron. That's pretty fucking good. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I need Jordan to respect me. Kobe's like, I don't give a fuck about these niggas. Let me talk to Jordan and I'm going to come out Jordan. And then you become Kobe. That's the only way to do it. If you're over here thinking about the average person, you can make average shit.
Hello. And now we're in the era where people are trying to be as likable as possible by the average person. And there was an argument, and I really want to hear what you guys have to think about it. I might get some of the points of it wrong, but it was making an argument for why we don't hear voices. I mean, we could, of course, include D'Angelo into that conversation. Why we don't hear like singers with the talent of a Whitney Houston, of a Mariah Carey? Why those are not put into the forefront, and why do we kind of have, at least on a mainstream level, singers that sing like pretty accessible by the audience? The argument that they made was that they feel like that was the industry readjusting to a different generation who don't want to embrace a singer that they feel like can sing 10 times better than them. But a singer who can make something that they feel like they can sing in the shower pretty damn well, or on TikTok, you know what? That's a lot more accessible. I can get behind that. And I wonder if, because of where, I know it's a long question, but I wonder if because of where society's priorities are, specifically in the social media spaces, if that's what discourages some artists from taking those risks, studying those tapes to become, their own version of greatness, like we're honoring today.
Emotion has been quantified by with data and numbers. So emotion can't actually be quantified, but it has. So now you look at something, this is how many likes it has. Therefore, if people don't like it, and guess what? Numbers don't end. So you know how arbitrary it is to be like 500 likes. That's not good enough. So what is good enough? There's literally infinity. So there's nothing can ever be good enough. So I posted a song today. Actually, it's a song that I'm singing that I fucking love this song. Mm-hmm. I got 366,000 views on a rap video, 468 or 1 million on rap videos where I talk about rap. This shit got like 5,000 views. I will post it again because I fucking love it. When I sing, I ain't get no love. When I rap, I get some love. Who cares? I'm gonna post it again because because my prince is Pharrell. And that's the shit that I'm trying to do shit and impress that nigga. And I already did, so I feel good about myself. But that shit right there is how people need to approach this shit. You have to love what you're doing, and the likes is what's, I think, made people think about, oh, how do I get more of these validation numbers instead of what is making me feel something?
I mean, you wonder also how hard it is to create a Mariah, a Whitney. These are once a decade, once a century athletic people, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, like Whitney Houston's don't grow on trees. And part of the thing too is like people
Whitney Houston don't grow on trees is a great bar right there. We gotta stop it.
People who grew up in the 70s and maybe the 80s and before that, there was a lot of people who went to church, and there was a high percentage of recording artists, especially Black recording artists, who grew up in the church. I remember talking to Toni Braxton about that, and she was part of like part of it, like, we got a lot of time to practice with an audience that had to listen to us, right? They were stuck listening to us. So a lot of time to go, that worked, that didn't. And you could tell when people were like, that was nice, honey. And like, oh, that was really good, right? And you could see when you're moving them. But we had an audience to practice with at least once or twice a week, every week. So we're learning how to get in that. And I think that has gone away, right? I think Black church attendance is way down. I think the percentage of recording artists who grew up in the church is way down. D'Angelo grows up in the church, right? Whitney Houston grows up in the church. Tony Braxton. I don't know about Mariah, but there's a huge impact of real singers who grew up in the church, and removing the church from the equation for most of the generation means you're gonna miss out on some singers. Some people who have the pipes may never develop it, may never fully realize it, may not, like, develop enough to become an artist.
You could make an argument church itself has changed too. I mean, not to get too deep into that, but I feel like just the type of church environments that you saw Whitney Houston come out of, or the one that you described from a D'Angelo, I think a lot of churches in a attempt, and I guess most times a positive attempt to be more welcoming of different type of perspectives and whatnot, or them reaching the internet. I think a lot of it does change in terms of kind of like that hard knocks schooling that you got as a singer. I remember my mom played keys since way before I was born. I remember being in a Baptist church in LA and seeing just like how rigid, how crazy those rehearsals were. Like the young drummer over here who my mom is telling like you can't play that loudly. You gotta like wait for this. And my mom telling you like, okay, sopranos, altos, I need you to seeing that in real time, and then seeing how, now folks are like participation trophy era where you're not an alto, but come on up here and be an alto.
In the church, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a factor.
Every week you're with a band and other real singers. Like, just that alone, because y'all know how hard it is to create and maintain a band, right? I think Bono talked about half of the battle is getting everybody to show up to rehearsal over and over and over when y'all got nothing. Before you get a deal, you got to do 1,000 rehearsals. How do you get people to show up to rehearse and do gigs when there's nobody coming? And church gives you an audience and a band and other singers to rock with when you are at the lowest level of trying to figure this whole thing out as a musician.
Discipline. When you know the elder your elders in there can sing and hit that note harder than you got some work to do. Well, there's a process, right? You must be vetted, and then you can. But I think a lot of people, because of those numbers, because of the allure of the numbers and what that could mean for membership sometimes for churches. I'm not getting on a church. I'm just saying we're living in a society now where artists are doing the same thing, and that they're making decisions that are stat-based decisions. I wonder, and this is just a question I'm posing, I wonder if this is the type of time, because of how easy mediocrity gets embraced, because of how many numbers it does, if this is the type of time that does spawn like the future icons, because of how easy and everybody's going in that direction, the herd is moving in that direction. Does that give an opportunity for someone to say like who would be Basquiat in this time period? Like, would he be on social media? Like, what does that look like in 2025?
I want to touch on that, as well as the idea of when he was talking about, I think, Whitney and growing up in the church and all that, and having this feedback, right? Instant feedback of where you are and wanting to get better and seeing the emotional reaction that you're getting. So right now we're quantified emotion with these numbers, and then you view that as like, oh, this is not good, so it needs to do this to get the numbers higher, which doesn't mean that you're actually getting better. It just means you're getting numbers higher, right? Whereas in the church, you're like, I just made the entire congregation clap, and feel something. So that's an real emotional response. So you understand that this music or this talent that you have can warrant an emotional response, and that's what music is. It's emotion in a real form. So what I want to say about that is that the music industry, because it's relating to these numbers, is the reason why we do not have these people, because those people exist. The talent is abundant out here. The
Sure.
talent is abundant. The thing I love about the internet is I've seen the funniest people, the most talented people all over this fucking globe every 5 minutes. When I scroll, you're going to see something insane. It's just that the way that these platforms feed it to us, I forgot what I saw today. I probably saw 3 amazing people today that I will never remember again because the platform feeds it to you in a loop, an infinity loop that your psychology cannot retain that. So someone has to work 10 times harder to get into your face and sink into your aura or feedback loop.
But the other side of that, of what you're saying, the music industry is not creating music. It doesn't facilitate making creative music. It works against making good music. It makes it harder to make good music. D'Angelo is an example. The music industry is why he left making music. But so many artists are like, this industry is not here to help me make interesting creative music. It is working against me. On a creative level, on a business level. So I mean, like, if you want to do something creative and interesting, you got to do it in those internet-y spaces because it's not going to happen on a real level.
You got to fund it yourself. You got to fund it yourself. You have to show proof of concept, and that's a process that takes time because, like you said, a lot of us are, all of us to a certain degree, if we're playing that game, are fighting an algorithm that we didn't design.
But it's there, and we have to stop. The thing is, we have this old world concepts in a new world reality, and you can start a YouTube channel and get 7,000 subscribers, and there's 7,000 fucking people that want to listen to your music, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, what are you talking about? Feed those people, build your shit up." You're going to tell me in 10 years, you get to 100,000 subscribers and you can make a living off of this shit. 1 million views is about what, like depending on your CPM and all shit like that, it could be $6,000 to $10,000 or whatever like that. You can make a fucking great living and nobody know who the fuck you are. That's the problem, is people are thinking about it in this 1%, 10% realm. Like, we don't have these 10% artists anymore. Just fucking go make some hot shit.
I think it's the funniest thing in the world when people complain about getting 30 or 40 plays and they say that's not enough, but then they walk into a busy Chipotle where there's 30 or 40 people and say, "Oh my God, I can't eat on my lunch break. It's too many people."
If you got 15 calls in a day, if you got 15 people calling you today to tell you that you looked handsome today, you got 15 comments and you're like, I want 1,000 comments. It's like, what the fuck are we talking about here, bro? I've never lost that perspective.
Green, if I get 15 calls today, I'm putting it on Do Not Disturb.
I'm saying, if you give me 15,
feel me? Like
15 texts, maybe 15 phone calls, I'm fucking horizontal. Like, this day is crazy. Are we in agreement, Reed D'Angelo, that Untitled is his best song?
His best song?
His best song in the objective, like, rap latte type of way, how we think about culture, best song, or my favorite, not favorite?
Well,
best.
No, I think it's, I think it's his best song. Do you think it's his best song?
It's his best song, without a doubt.
Yeah. Curtis?
See, I gotta get back. Help me. I'm still knowing this rap latte. I've been a guest for a long time. Help me understand what that perspective is, because there's a part of me that's like, if I'm showing somebody a D'Angelo song for the first time, I don't know if I'm showing them that unless I'm telling them about the moment that came along with it.
No, not about introducing them, but like, what is his best song? I think we agree Voodoo's the best album. The best song may or may not be on Voodoo. Sometimes we talk about what's your favorite song, which is personal, which may or may not be right. Like, and you can understand, like, this is the best song, but just like we all talked about, like, Kendrick or Jay-Z are the greatest.
My favorite Kendrick song is Peekaboo. Nobody thinks that's his best song.
Right. He loves Peekaboo, right? But he understands, like, Kendrick has done better things than that, but Peekaboo just lives in his heart and makes him just freaking go nuts.
Peekaboo lives in your heart. That's adorable. Peekaboo lives in your heart.
I'll take that. That is my shit.
It lives in your heart.
You know what I mean? Like, so just the difference.
Peekaboo. This nigga said peekaboo.
Look at his heart. His heart just like this. That's adorable. That's adorable.
I get that shit. But what were you? Yeah, he was explaining it. So yeah, what do you think is his best?
I posed the question out there. I want to see what they say. But go ahead. Go ahead. Uh-huh.
No, I think it's Untitled. What do you think, Curtis?
If I'm showing, that's how I'm judging it. If I'm showing somebody a song for the first time, I'm starting at the very beginning. I'm starting at Brown Sugar.
Yeah,
I'm starting at Brown Sugar for them. There's so much of Brown Sugar's DNA in some of my favorite ones. Like if I sit there, I'm the same way about about sports debates. I'm gonna always say, well, if this player didn't exist, this style wouldn't exist, and therefore your favorite player wouldn't have existed in his greatness. Brown Sugar for me, that's the one for me.
Brown Sugar, you think is his greatest?
Amazing song.
Okay,
there's a lot of that DNA in How Does It Feel, and you could say Brown Sugar feels a little bit more unique to D'Angelo than How Does It Feel, because How Does It Feel kind of has that DNA of Prince in it more so than Brown Sugar does. I could see that.
Brown Sugar is equally derivative, and I don't mean that in a diss way, but like equally derivative of the soul music of the 70s, like without a doubt. It's very Roy Ayers and Sly Stone and not Curtis Mayfield so much, but like it's totally in the pocket of what we got in the 70s.
3,000% with that. I don't know.
Brown Sugar was a monster. It was one of the songs of the summer. I remember the video. I remember listening to that song all the time, everywhere. And it was like, who is this guy? And like I said, Brown Sugar is not a great written song. So we were like, he's the promise. Like when he comes back with his next shit, he's going to be incredible. But like the first album, we were like, this is good. He is very, very talented. But if you want like a ball player who's like, kind of raw, he might shoot 30, he might score 30, but he might put up 60 shots to get there. You're like,
it's like Kobe with the afro versus, Kobe number 24. Like some people will forever be attached to the memory and nostalgia. I think that's what it is for me. Like as I'm going to pull up some of these answers here.
We're going to chill. We're going to have to chill with the constant Laker analogies because
that's all y'all got over there, nigga.
Damn. Home team. Hey. I know it's green in here. It's green in here, but it's not Boston. All right, it's not the Boston Celtics time over here.
I don't have to be the Celtics either.
Home team. Wait a minute. Look what I can do on my home team.
DIY.
Heard that? It's like buttons. Home team. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at me. I got green in the background. I got a green hat on. I'm being very accommodating to this rap latte branding.
The Clippers are your home team as well, sir.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Are they not the LA team?
I'm sure there's a lot of rec leagues and there's a lot of T-ball teams that are out here. We don't rep them all. I mean, what is what are we doing?
He's like, I don't care about these G League teams.
Them boys cheated so hard to get Kawhi and to get wins, and you're not going to root for them? They fucking circumventing the rules? You're not going to fuck with them?
Because they're squatters. They were Staples Center squatters. Like, what are you there for? What do you have no banners up here when you play home games?
He said the niggas was on Skid Row.
When you play home games, Taylor Swift's banner goes up for having the most sold out crowd. Like those are the kind of banners that go up for you.
No,
you got San Diego Clipper banners before you got LA. I don't want to hear it. We don't talk about the rec league.
They had a racist owner who did not give a fuck about winning. Right? The players did not want to fuck with him. They all knew he was racist from way fucking back.
Definitely.
So you had the shitty owner for a long time. But I believe you Clippers fans will come up in the next 5 because now you have a dope owner.
What you said 2 words together that I really don't hear very often. I live in LA.
You live in LA.
What is this thing? What is this foreign thing that you keep saying? Clippers fan.
I don't know how you So
Interesting.
You just get to say that team's in my city, but I don't fuck with them. That's weird.
I mean, like, shout out to my hometown, Carson. Carson has the Carson Colts. Do you ever talk about that from a NFL standpoint? No, because that is that football league that is in Carson, California. It just so happens that we have another basketball playing team that sometimes likes to play us in the professional leagues.
Who do they play? What do they play?
That's like more so for the kids. It's for the kids. It's the Carson Colts. It's like the kids, like the
rec league.
Yeah, like the Pop Warner, type of thing. Like they're a staple in Carson. But I'm like, Clippers.
Wait, okay, so we've gotten to
I'm a fan of Clippers at the barbershop. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying we got into a lighthearted space. Can we talk about what I want to talk about?
I know, yeah. Okay, so for those who don't know, you definitely understand that we came in here and we wanted to make sure. Even yesterday, before I could get into that video about Timberland and his god awful AI situation, I had to make sure that I acknowledged and said rest in peace. But I wanted to make sure we had a longer conversation. And Touré and Green, I appreciate you for being here for this special episode. But we definitely want to get into some other topics. So for those of you that are in here, I greatly appreciate you. I'm definitely going to get to the super chats. What topic you want to get to, Mr. King Green? What's going on in this complicated space at times that can take you on an emotional roller coaster? What the hell's going on, Mr. King Green?
Pod wars.
Oh boy.
Are we potting or are we talking?
It's pod controversy.
You keep talking about my Lakers. We're not podding no more. We're talking.
That's some sucker shit right there, Curtis.
Sucker shit. Is that what we get? Is that what we
You're
do?
a sucker. I'm saying that's some sucker shit.
First of all, y'all keep talking to me like I'm pussy, and I ain't no pussy.
No, it's not that I use tricky words. They're tricky to you.
Oh my God. The way that cut through my soul when I saw that.
In the chamber. He didn't even think about it. He's just been sitting on that. I just have this bullet ready to go. No, they're not tricky. They're just tricky to you. Like fuck you.
Let's just get into it. If you do not know the world-renowned Joe Button podcast, big fan.
Woo! They outdid themselves.
There was a Patreon episode, which is like, an episode for members have to pay for. So this is not even just for everyone on YouTube, where Dr. Mark Lamont Hill, and we're going to play the clip, got into it with Queen's Flip. Let's play the clip so people can see.
How much
the funniest thing in the world.
Idea. You think it's enough right here? It's about 4 minutes of a clip. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I think we get an idea if we could just play
a little bit.
All right. Shout out to my MCN. Hopefully I get this approved. Go ahead.
Well, hear that and think I do that.
Well, I don't know if you do it, but
Do you have any reason to think I do that?
I don't know.
Definitely.
Do you have any reason to think I do that? Is what
I don't know, because you just said that. You said you cracking a joke with Joe. Like,
Did you cracking a joke with Joe?
I don't know. Listen, what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh, go ahead.
This is what I'm trying to tell you.
I think the people need to see this show.
Hey, you got.
Hey, guess what? It's going out.
It's going out.
And what's the difference between what we did last week?
Just want to care about what people shouldn't see, then shut up.
Then don't say
this
it. Right.
is going out.
I'm comfortable with everything I'm saying.
This is going right out.
I love you, Flip.
I love you too.
FedEx too.
Oh, I think they already fought at this point.
Did it already happen? No, it didn't already happen.
No, I think it's still coming.
Yeah, it's
okay,
happening.
keep going then.
I didn't know they said I love you before this happened. This like it's ominous. That's ominous. All right, let's get into it.
No, I don't backbite.
Let me actually make sure. Are we? Oh yeah, that's.
Oh yeah. Niggas start rah-rah.
Yeah,
Like, even when we
kept your secrets, nigga.
I'm not gonna say it because then I'll be saying
Yeah, we kept your secrets.
That's all I'm gonna say.
What secrets?
And can't nobody up here say nothing different.
What secrets?
We kept your secrets, boy.
What secrets?
We know your secrets.
I'll tell you off air. I'm not even going to allude to it on air. I don't move that way.
See, this is loyal.
That's not loyal.
Not that shit you do. This lawyer ain't gonna blow you up in front of millions, nigga.
Please, what you talking about?
No, and to be clear for the ones, it ain't nothing personal with it. Ain't about personal life. I don't want to make it sound like that because I want people to think.
Oh, you talking about anything that I tell you, niggas? Anything that happened, I can talk about.
Should I fast forward a little bit, or do we need the context before we get into?
Well, I do want to have the context because when Mark says, "What would make you think I do that?" What is that?
Great question. Oh,
I could explain this, but I wanted to get the energy from the clip. But who cares? We won't get striked. I'll just explain it. People could go watch the video.
No, I want to see the fight.
No, we can play it. No, we're good. I got the same MCN as them. So I'm gonna get approval. It's just a matter of giving some context of what's going on. Because there's a few heated moments that happen.
Up.
Okay, so we're getting closer to it. So they're having a heated debate in the middle of a podcast episode. And what else is happening? Do we need to just go ahead and press play then?
Go for it.
All right.
Go ahead. See where you're at.
Whenever it decides.
This was this man in the world. You spend 1,000 hours trying to communicate and speak to people to be accepted by people that this community, that this nigga built through the community. I don't need to do that.
That's our job.
Nigga. I believe in myself.
That's
and I believe in
our
what I do.
job.
No, our job is to come up here and work and show and put our best foot forward.
And that's what I do.
That's our job. And plus, do other shit behind the scenes.
You mean like promote the show?
To try to win favor. You try to win favors.
You
nigga.
mean like fan engagement?
You try to win favors.
All right, you're
period.
You're
to
right.
me, you try to win favors.
With the fans?
And then on top of that, even if you do win favors,
fans, they're our audience.
Even if you do win favors, you try to point out everything else that nobody do. That's sucker shit to me.
When do I do that?
You try to point out.
Don't call me a sucker no more. 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 Don't call me a sucker no more.
That's sucker shit. I'm not calling you. I'm saying that's sucker shit.
Fuck you then. Fuck you then.
Don't call me a sucker no more.
Fuck you then.
Oh God.
Let it be known that my man Mark is a super intellectual and reads about 40 books a month, and he also used to be homeless and will whoop your ass. The street side of him is easily accessible at any time, and he is an intellectual who will get down in the gutter with you, and he be running circles around these niggas on the show. The show is constantly Mark is discussing something and Flip or the other light-skinned nigga with no brains next to him be like, I don't really understand what he's talking about, but I'm trying to have a conversation with him. And Joe would just be sitting there laughing. I'm like, Mark, you're like so much smarter than these niggas. It's ridiculous. But I got no problem telling these niggas off and punching a nigga in his face if that's what it needs to be. Like, I'll do that too.
And it escalated. It escalated to that point. But I want to make sure, because this is a hell of a transition between very sincere conversation we had about, remembering D'Angelo. But there is a bigger topic here that I know that King Green wanted to get into. I definitely want to get into with Touré in this conversation. Is there any more content? Because it just pretty much escalates. More yelling happens, and is there anything else?
I mean, it's just funny to me I think we missed the tricky part. I say these tricky. You keep using tricky words. I use regular words that are tricky to you.
That's where, yeah.
And then he, but it kind of just escalates with anger. Let's just talk about it and then go into the larger aspect of it. Everyone can watch it.
Yeah. Let's.
I'm
pretty sure they've seen it by now. Most of y'all in here already seen it.
The point at the beginning, Flip is saying you do a lot of fan engagement shit, and Mark's like, yeah, that's the job. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And like, trying to win favors with the fans. Like, well, yeah, you should be doing videos and interactions and meet and greets and social media and whatever, so the fans feel like you shook their hand, you kissed their baby. If you have a personal interaction with somebody like that, they never forget. I met Linda Cohn. Remember Linda Cohn from Sports Center? I met her. I met her in LaGuardia for 5 minutes, and I had just talked to Jay-Z and like a month before, and he was like, "Linda Cohn's my favorite anchor on Sports Center." And I saw her, and I was like, "Hey, Linda, Jay-Z, da 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 da." And we had a really nice conversation for like 2-3 minutes, no big deal. And we separated. And she wasn't even trying to do, but I'm like, I was forever like, Linda Cohn's a shit. You can't say shit to me about Linda Cohn. I love her.
Exactly.
You take that moment to shake somebody's hand and kiss their baby online or in person, you might have made a fan for life.
For life.
And like, Mark gets that, and Flip thinks the whole job is to be in that room and talk. Like, you are missing it, dog.
It's actually just envy and jealousy disguised as like workplace imbalance. Like you can't get, if someone's going overboard with their work from your perspective, that's not a negative thing, even if that's the truth. That's the problem. You can't express emotionally what you actually feel, which is like, I feel like I'm being undercutted, or I look like I look like I'm not valuable because of how valuable you are. That's what he's really saying. I feel like I'm not valuable, and I think that maybe you guys think I'm not that valuable because of how we all see how valuable you are, and you can't express that shit. So now you try to push it as a negative, and then all that stuff, the undercurrent of intellectualism and basically people hating anybody who's smart. That is a scientific study where people hear someone who's smart, and you either think of them as a leader or you hate them. It makes you like mad at them. The whole 40-year-old virgin shit where it's like, I don't understand what you're saying.
Well, you know what Chris Rock said?
Disrespect.
I know you got a master's. You ain't my master.
I've literally seen this dynamic play out with somebody who felt threatened. I've seen an argument before, and somebody say, "You so smart, you stupid," and I said, "What?" Anyone say? I was just watching it, and I said, "Is that what it feels like to be on the other end of that?" Because I think sometimes I'm that smart ass that says things and don't even realize I'm.
Remember Kevin Hart in the 40-year-old virgin?
We just said that.
Now you're using big words. I'm gonna take it as disrespect. And I don't know what that means, so I'm gonna take it as disrespect. Watch your mouth. Like, you're using big words and I don't know what they mean, so I'm gonna take it as a negative. Like, why not just Google the word and see what the nigga's talking about? No, I'm mad.
Tricky words is crazy thing to say as a grown human being. Here's my thing, Dr. Mark Lamont,
broadcaster. Tricky words.
Tricky words is that's the craziest thing I ever heard as a grown man. My thing is, I love T.I. and 50 Cent. These are two people that I very much believe that they never got a GED or a high school diploma.
No doubt.
These niggas love using big words, especially that nigga expeditiously T.I. And that made me so encouraged to even want to increase my diction and be able to have a different vocabulary. Because I'm like, look at these rappers who come from this type of life who are also able to handle any type of language situation. Language is power. You are going to take your whatever education as, come into a space, here's someone who has a different type of vocabulary, a different type of experience, even comes from the same places that you come from, and then try to negate that and devalue that. You're fucking stupid. It's not where you're from. It's not the education system. You don't care, and you don't put the effort into have a diction.
Anti-intellectualism of you shouldn't be using such big words that I don't understand. The conversation that Mark is constantly having with especially those two niggas on the couch is like saying, he's not even going into academic shit. Like, I follow Mark, I'm friends with Mark. Like, he'll have a real intellectual conversation. He ain't saying no real intellectual shit on JBP, and he's still so far above their heads that they're like, so you're constantly.
Niggas said culpable one time, and they didn't know what the fuck culpable was, and I was like, what are we doing here?
What does that equivalent look like in a physical fight? Like, put your hand behind, put your strong arm behind your back and fight me. Like, what does that look like in a physical world?
Well,
what are you requesting of me?
What happened when they went out in the hallway? Did somebody throw on somebody? I'm sure they were screaming at each other, but did somebody throw? I think
it de-escalated pretty quickly. They didn't really go out in the hallway, and Joe Budden was like, "Y'all niggas ain't going out in the hallway. The hallway's still. This is still the same area. It's still
hot. We can't do that."
Let's just talk about also.
Don't go off camera. Everything happens on camera. We're running this. We're not like, you know what I mean? We're not going to not run it because it might be embarrassing to you. We're running everything.
We're running everything because this is great content.
That and the landlord, the hot water that they're in because of the landlord. Remember, because of the situation with the ring camera and all of that stuff. Like, they're still in hot water with the property, if I'm not mistaken.
You can't be fighting. That's like a whole apartment
building now, though. I thought they bought that space.
No, that is it's part of it's like, I think, a few condos or apartments or whatever like that, and then outside is like a hallway that you could go into another situation, from what I understand. But the point being is like, and that's a nice area. You can't just go outside and fight. It's like that's why Joe Budden said, take that shit to a project.
couple streets down. What you doing?
Yeah. Out here. Let's talk about how Mark had a nigga moment, like a whole Boondocks nigga moment. Like, I saw where his brain was like, yo, I'm thinking. And then it was like, no, this nigga's disrespecting me. Say I'm a sucker again. Say I'm a sucker. When a nigga repeats himself,
he escalated it. He sped it up.
He is not trying to talk to you. Those are not talking words. Those are
I
fighting words.
appreciate it because Mark is one of those people who makes you feel like you can be an intellectual and be cool, right? And at the same time, I can get gully if you need. Like, I got that side too. Like, don't get it twisted. Don't act like I'm sweet just because I read 1,000 books. Like, I'll still fucking go up the side of your face. Like, I don't give a fuck. And I love that.
It was so much fun to watch, and then he tried to de-escalate it himself and saying like, saying disrespectful stuff, but Flip, because of his character and his personality, that's part of his shtick, is like being this disrespectful comedian or whatever. It's like a prank type guy. That's why he'll go up to people and act like he's about to get into a fight. And there's also people like that in real life who are like antagonizers,
but they don't go like that. They don't go at the Casper looking nigga. They don't go at the white boy. There's a lot of sauce between the two doofuses on the couch and Mark, and a lot of back. The white boy, he don't do shit, right? He just parks whatever the fuck.
Parks. Oh, I was like, who are you talking about?
Well, there's only one white person on the show.
I thought you were disrespecting light-skinned niggas, and I was like, "What? That's crazy."
No. I don't.
I'm used to it. No,
I will never disrespect my people.
Look. My question is this, Touré: are we podding? Or are we talking?
Are we podding? Are we talking?
Are we podding? Or are we talking?
So, but by that he means, are we doing the show or are we preparing to fight? That's what he's saying.
Yes. That's the vibe, but also we don't know what the fuck that nigga means. Are we potted or are we talking? That's almost as good, probably just as good as are we finished or are we done?
But
like that is
getting comments from people saying you shouldn't have gone there.
What do you mean?
He's getting negative pushback on what he did.
If I'm not mistaken, I'll try to pull up the clip, but he came back and he's sitting kind of, I think, in the hot chair. Is this it right here? He said, Joe Budden addressing the intellectual community following. Yep, this is the video right here. It's only 1:46. We could play that. But I guess he got some phone calls from, the intellectual black community, that some of his folks that he looks up to in that space, and they was like, you're not representing us right, or whatever the case. I didn't see the full clip, but let's go ahead and see what that looking like.
What is the intellectual black community?
like the intellects, I guess, those who are known for they're the ones that we call in.
No, I'm just saying, do we get like a Touré? You part of that? You get like a passport?
No, without a doubt.
You get a passport, membership card.
No, without a doubt. You look. I mean, like I could rock with them, but really, you're talking about the academic people who come into the real world, right? Which the academic community does not really respect or like you coming into the real world and spitting game, doing a podcast, doing a TV show, whatever. They look down on all that sort of shit. So you're costing yourself in the academic community. But when you're Mark Lamont Hill, Cornel West, Michael Eric Dyson, Eddie Glaude, you're like, I don't care. I want to speak, Melissa Harris Perry, I want to speak to the real world. But people like that are definitely part of a larger community. And I imagine some of them, or some of their Amani Perry, like these great, brilliant names who are
talking about academics. Yeah.
Some of them, maybe the people I named, maybe some others will like them, might have called him, because he does all I want to say festivals. They don't call them festivals, but all the academic sort of meetups, right? So he knows he's been an academic for decades. So he knows the whole crew. So I know maybe someone like a Cornel West or Michael Eric Dyson or whatever called him, was like, that's not it. But like, I don't know. You sit in the Joe Budden podcast long enough saying intelligent shit. Eventually, you're gonna have to pull out your sword and show a nigga you got another side.
What's good with this clip?
I'm about to play it right now. This is where he kind of gets into more detail. What we talking about?
Prominent person that cursed you out.
I can't say,
but was it an Obama?
No, but it was a prominent.
Cover your mouth.
I wouldn't even tell y'all because they asked me not to. But it was a prominent person in our community.
You defended us.
They weren't criticizing y'all.
They were shitting on him.
Yeah.
But that's the point.
And shitting on him, they could have shitted on us too.
I got some of those too. Like this is what happens when you hang with them gorillas type shit.
They don't know you or give a fuck about you, Casper. They're not talking about you. You don't come into their consciousness. They're saying, Mark, You've done a lot of intellectual work. You have a name. People care. You could go do a TED Talk. You could go represent us on CNN or wherever. And their point is,
just call that nigga Casper.
That was like the 4th time I did that. They don't give a fuck about fucking Casper. Don't he look like Casper the fucking ghost, nigga?
Are we talking or we podding?
They care about Mark because Mark's image matters. Like, we need to protect Mark because we need to keep that sort of a brilliant voice viable. If Mark were to be canceled for some reason, that would be a bad thing because he's a valuable member of the community.
He's not getting canceled over this. The numbers have been going up.
In general, they are calling him a Cornel West, Michael Eric Dyson, whoever it is calling him to say, we need you to stay viable because you're a very important voice in the world. Nobody give a fuck about you, Casper. If you stop talking, nobody would care, except maybe your mom. Maybe.
This man's going at him.
Shall I continue?
Go ahead.
Damn, but that was more the internet than like people hitting me up.
Did that call bother you? Like when they call somebody that you respect and
Wait, no. That's what happens when you hang with the gorillas. Yeah. Hey, I'll have y'all know we had to hold this educator back. Wait,
shout out to Amani for saving the day.
Shout out to Amani for that massage.
Just shoulder rub.
Like, yeah, we got the educators. We had to restrain the professor, us gorilla street hood, drug dealer, dope boy, fucking crackheads.
He was the aggressor.
Yeah, he was the one that lost his temper at work. That was us.
Emotional intelligence.
Yeah, they gonna stop talking about us a certain type of way.
Don't do that to him. We can't even say the word sucker up here anymore.
Yeah. Gotta say lollipop.
Jesus.
Bullshit.
So that's kind of the gist of that.
No, okay, let's talk about this. When you if you the way that pod and how things work too is like, and you know how it is. Especially this got started by J1, which is Jadakiss's son, right? Mm-hmm. He asked a straight up like barbershop street nigga question, like, which one of y'all feel like somebody should get paid less? Like, who should get paid less out of all the people here? Like, seeing the value. And you know what that means in a space of that type of energy and the machismo for like niggas. This was all. You come here and you act like niggas with your niggas. Even if you have a background, you have experience, you still know what being a nigga is if you are from that space. And when you get put in a nigga space, you will have a nigga moment. It is a real fucking thing. Like, that shit is a joke, but that's a real fucking thing. And so it's easy for people who live and exist in that space now to flip, especially Queens Flip, back and forth from them like, oh, I was just joking, or I'm testing you, because that's part of, especially New York niggas, which I love New York so much for this as well. They will fucking test your soul and then act like they didn't do shit in the 2 minutes. It's like, I'm gonna size you up, especially a Harlem nigga. I was like, I'm gonna size you up, see if you really about that life, or you really who you say you are, and then if you crack, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I mean, I was just playing around, or it's just that. That's exactly what happened. And they're doing that right now with their back. They're like, yo, man, you was going crazy. But they're not realizing the psychological space that they put this nigga in, where he's giving you guys real world facts and education. And he is accredited in these things. And you guys completely undermine it with stupid ass fucking statements. So therefore, I'm angry now because I just got told that I'm dumb by a bunch of dumb niggas.
A bunch of dumb niggas. Yes, to all that. But also, if I'm not mistaken, that I believe it was Flip who said that he was willing to take less money for the overall good of the whole show. And Mark was like, that's cool because I deserve more. So I'll take your pay cut.
That's a goal. That's 2 for 2. That between that and the other quote about the tricky words.
He was going at him.
That's oof.
And they go at each other. My thing is, I agree with Joe Button where he said that in the end of that discussion, he said that this is his fault. You are operating a multi-million-dollar conglomerate. This is how I'm gonna say, as like a loyalty nigga friends situation. Like this is not about
this is October. This is their biggest clip of the year. this is good for business. Like
it's great for.
This is
it's not great for the team though.
Oh, I think I think a bunch of niggas can bounce back.
No, you can bounce back and figure it out. But I'm saying if this is something that's happening over and over again, it can disrupt and destroy a cast that was very viable to your brand. Joe Budden has done this 3 times over with different people, so I don't doubt that he'll be able to figure this shit out. And he could get rid of all those niggas, make a whole new thing at this point. We know the Joe Budden podcast brand.
He could. It would be better to hold on to Mark and dump, because Mark is a special commentator, broadcaster, whatever you want to call it, out of that group, right? Joe and Mark are really special in the way they handle their business. The rest of them motherfuckers are like, I don't even know what we're talking about. Like,
I think it's the community that you built, and you know the characters, and you know the camaraderie between the people, because the friendship matters to how good the product is when you're watching it. I get the whole thing. It's still, you can run your ship in different ways, and you can make sure that there's boundaries so things like that don't happen at all. But you also, since you're a smart business person, he's looking at this shit like you said and said, nigga, this shit's rolling. This shit's going out to the people. Like, they could have, if this was such a bad thing, it wouldn't go out to the people. So this is part of us talking about it. It's great podcast shit, and it's really just funny. That is just not that serious. The only thing that we could extrapolate from this shit that is not so much serious, but not just funny, is the fact that, you know, anti-intellectualism, like that shit's running rampant. And anybody who's like, oh man, tricky words. Tricky words is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. I never even heard that together.
What even was the tricky word that he's referred? I don't even know what word he said that wasn't a 5th grader word.
No idea.
Don't you just try to disarm my vocabulary? It's funny. I said a quote this week when I was talking about the push to try to dumb down music. I said, why does my music have to suffer because you stupid? Like, why does the quality of my music have to suffer because you stupid? Gotta come down to the audience so it's something that's more digestible for everybody. Why the quality of my music gotta suffer?
Exactly. Dumbing down.
Because you don't want to do the work. I'm not so random.
Niggas, the average American reads at what, a 6th grade level, 5th grade level?
Oh, 6th grade level. I mean, you know, Mark has been having this fight with the couch niggas for months now. And I almost feel bad because quite often, you know, he's saying some intelligent shit and they're saying some dumbass shit. I mean, Flip is completely wrong in his point, right? Like he's making no sense. You are arguing with Mark because he's doing his job and he's doing fan engagement and he's trying to get people and he's like, you're trying to win people over. Like, well, yeah, nigga, I'm trying to win fans over. Like,
that's 14 points.
What's the sucker? What would, even if we like, what would be the sucker shit that you're referring to? And he's like, well, I think he said you point out what we don't do. I don't know. I see BTS, Mark and Ian do a lot of BTS videos. There's a lot of like videos that they make.
Yeah, they have their own TV show kind of.
Yeah, they got their own shit, right? That's like, oh, watch us over. And I'm like, okay, they're thinking of innovative ways. Let's create a little show within the show or like a little funny BTS show, whatever. I mean, that, you know, that this nigga want to come in and work 60 hours a week and you only want to do 40. Like, don't get mad at him. You know what it is too, Green? It's like, it's the apple polisher thing, right? That students see students, look at A students like you're a sucker. Like you
exactly.
And it's true that the higher the grade you get as a Black child, the fewer friends you have, right? Like we've seen that in studies. So here's Mark, who is a very charismatic, personable person, but he is being attacked basically for being intelligent. And you see how, like you were saying before, King, that Curtis, that like intelligence can cost you with it sometimes within the Black community, which is fucking crazy.
That's what's fucked up.
I would argue, I mean, for the sake of this conversation, yeah, this is very specific, but I feel like that's what the 48 Laws of Power was alluding to as well, is that there's certain situations, power dynamics, regardless of what the environment is, that make you a target. if you speak too knowledgeable on things and you don't have the position to, you know what I'm saying? Like if what is it? Don't outshine the master and
never outshine the master.
Like we see these kind of things play themselves out in a few different environments. Whether it's like, you know, a veteran player who's now on the other side of his career, and now, you know, here's the new guy coming up. Kind of like the whole premise of that terrible movie, Him. But continue.
Which movie?
Where the hell does these bugs come from?
Movie Him. I was so mad that I didn't enjoy that as much as I thought I would enjoy.
Oh, that movie was trash. We did a whole thing on that shit.
It started so strongly, but continue. It started
the other 48 Law of Power, even though I hate bringing up 40 Law of Power like it's the fucking Bible, but because niggas always do that.
The reason I bring it up is because I know a lot of folks out here are still living by it, and you can tell how obviously they're still abiding by those rules within that book.
I'd rather go by The Art of War, which is basically the beginning of that. But conceal your intentions is a big one of 48 Laws of Power, right? And it's also Shan Tzu's Art of War, the idea of concealing your intentions. And it's like, why are you coming out like that, Flip, if you really feel certain way? You don't want to put your intentions out there, but it's good for the pod, and that's why it doesn't matter. But I'm saying, like, if you have a brand and you want to increase your brand, you want to combat that with the same energy. You don't want to make yourself look less, because Flip's just making himself look less than, not making himself look equal or greater than. And that's the issue right there. Even with Mark flipping out and getting emotional, he doesn't look wrong. He doesn't look like, I mean, it's wrong, but I'm saying he doesn't look like an asshole or less than. That's what I'm trying to say. He doesn't look less than. You could have not got that emotional, but he had a nigga moment. It happened.
Can I pose this question, especially since we're talking about the fight, the anti-intellectualism agenda, and how much we see that rear its head in many different spaces? I wonder if, to combat the aggressive ways that people are trying to, you know, fight against things that are positioned as intellectual, I wonder if intellectualism itself and the way that it appears and the stereotypes that are associated with it, if it does need to go underneath its own evolution so that it speaks the language of the person who was the aggressor. Remember, Malcolm X said it one time. He said, would you speak to someone who speaks German? Would you speak Spanish to them? Like, that's not their language. They're not going to get you. So he was making that connection to, why would you speak peace to someone who only understands the language of violence? So what I'm saying is, I wonder if these conversations are happening this way, and they don't end up like most conversations between those two opposing sides don't play out the way we see with Queen's Flip and Mark Lamont, right? This is new, I think, at least in the sense of content. Is that the way that some of these conversations are going to have to be handled, so people know you don't play with me there?
Yeah, but you also, the statement of, you don't want to argue with an idiot because from people from afar can't tell who's who. I think that's also, we could take quotes and apply it to so many things, and I think sometimes things can be applied and it's a false equivalency. I think you could come out of that place without having a nigga moment and look just as smart and cut him down and be like, I'm just doing my job. But there's obviously an emotional component that happened there that's bigger than that moment. It's the anti-intellectualism that he's getting so many times and letting it slide. He never attacked it in a way that he felt sufficient emotionally, and that's why he emotionally lashed out.
I read what you just said as quoting Jay-Z, even though many people have said that thing before, but you made me think about De La Soul, and Mark is doing the De La Soul is dead thing here, in that just because we're smart and suburban don't mean we can't fight. That was the whole thesis of that album. Like, yeah, we are chill and smart, but we'll still whip your ass if you want that shit. And, you know, he kind of feels like I have to go there because niggas is disrespecting me. And like, as you say, Flip is pushing him, but Mark's like, I can go to that frequency too. Like, I ain't, you know, I'm a fucking man too. Like, I'll fucking stand on my own and punch you in the face. And a lot of times with men, you don't have to punch them in the face. You just have to show them, I am willing to punch you in the face, and then they will back off.
Well, that's my point, is that in this situation, if King Green, you said if he wants to still appear smart. And I don't think that's a goal. People know how intelligent Mark Lamont Hill is, no matter what he says moving forward. They already know his history and the work that he's done. I'm saying in a situation where your goal may be, hey, we're not speaking the same language. Let me get on your frequency so you understand why what you're saying is problematic and that's not acceptable. No matter what box you may have me in, no matter why you think that's okay to press me in that particular way. I feel like that was a conversation where maybe it got de-escalated faster because of the direction that Mark Lamont went. Because he said, no, I'm standing on that. We're not moving anywhere further until we get language correctly.
He was disrespected. The real part of that, though, is what's about language that I like, and about the English and Spanish thing that you brought up, is that you know that weirdo means something different in Cali than it does over here. Sucker means something different in Philly than it does to New York niggas. There's language differences within the Black community, and what happened, like especially here too, like someone calling you a dummy in Baltimore, that's nothing. You call someone a dummy somewhere else, they might be offended. Like, why you saying dummy like that?
Yes,
so
but also,
the issue is he's from a certain place and speaks a certain language, and he's hearing him speak a language to him that is disrespectful because he understands that language, and that flipped it even more. So language plays a big part in the disrespect factor with Mark, which I'm not blaming. I don't blame Mark at all. I'm saying there's always other options. I like this. I love it because I get to talk about it and it's hilarious. But it's a language thing.
Flip also is trying to say you did a sucker thing. And Mark saying, so you saying I am a sucker.
And fuck all that shit.
No, but I mean, like, I do appreciate the distinction of saying I don't like what you did versus this is what you are. And when we say to other people, I don't like your action here, it should be less offensive. I'm not talking about your whole person. I'm just saying, and this comes up with raising children, with talking to other men, whatever, like, please don't do that thing rather than saying you are this thing, right? Which should be easier to take. Now we're already in a high emotional moment, so saying that Mark takes it there. But I don't feel like it's totally fair to say you did some sucker shit or you did some bullshit. You are a sucker. You are bullshit. Like, no, I just said I didn't like your action. I'm not repudiating you as a human being. I'm just saying I don't like that thing you did. But Mark's like, no, you said you don't like me, so fuck you.
Well, yes, I do read it on that as well. But I want to pose this question. How far down the road is being a sucker after someone has already accused you one time or two times or three times of doing sucker shit? Like, how disconnected are those from each other? If every week we came in here and I'm like, you know what, man, that's some sucker shit. About the third or fourth time, King Green's gonna see a pattern. Maybe the second time.
If you identified, like,
you testing me.
If you did three, if you said 3 or 4 times you've done sucker shit, now I'm like, okay, you're saying I'm repeatedly. I say you're saying I'm sucker. Like,
I'm saying, how disconnected is that?
I should with subtracting the emotion because they're already way deep into the red on emotion on both sides. But subtracting that, I should be able to say, Green, I don't appreciate when you cut me off. I'm not saying you're an asshole. I'm saying that in that specific moment you were an asshole. Can we deal with that? And without him being like, so you're calling me an asshole? No, right? And
but asshole is a language that we both understand.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I say, I don't know. This is not going to be super equatable, but if I'm over here saying that it's like every time you talk about this shit, you be lunching, and then you're like lunching. It's like you just be lunching all the time. You be lunching. That's DC slang for like being crazy or wilding out about some shit, right? You might not understand what that means. It's just the same thing with the big words. I don't know what that means, so I'm taking it as disrespect. Or say if it means something else to you in your slang, in your language, like, oh, it's like, yeah, I called your girl and she was talking about this other girl, but she be blowing me. And you're like, she be blowing me? Yeah, she be blowing me. He's like, I don't know what that means. It's like, but it doesn't mean the same fucking shit. It's different lingo, even if it's so minuscule, but you're saying the emotions are up, then the language is not understood, and now you guys are miscommunicating, and now we about to fight.
Flip knows no matter what, I am street and I could take it there. So whatever I say is in that context. A nigga like Mark, and I've lived this, niggas don't know. They're like, oh, you use tricky words. You read a whole book. You read 2 books. You
sitting in front of a whole bunch of books. I feel disrespected.
I'm saying that, like, whenever Mark read this book, right,
so you trying to relate to us by sitting in front of them damn books. You talking or we podding?
Right. Yeah, we talking or podding with all the fucking books.
Because I'm a reader, because I'm intelligent. So I gotta come off this little academic intellectual throne or whatever the fuck, this chair, and show you like it ain't sweet over here. I will fucking punch you in the face. And like I said, for men, sometimes you have to show them you are willing to punch somebody else in the face. You don't always have to do it. Some people will be like, all right, so fucking do it. But just showing you're willing to do it will take you far with other men.
I agree with that.
You're not even willing to show that you're willing to do it will show, oh, so you're pussy. Oh, you call me a pussy. Like, here we are.
Well, that's how people
100% understand that.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's why you gotta establish some ground rules. And that happens through any long-term friendship that I've ever had. Like, we gonna step over a line to realize a line exists. And then once we get there, we say all kind of crazy shit and be like, if we ever get to that part again, like we throwing hands, like that's just, it's non-negotiable. I don't play like that. I don't use certain words like that. But for some people, until that actually happens, they don't know what that line is. And I can see a Mark Lamont in that situation saying, I'm going to stop this on the first time. Because there's certain people that I get around who around each other, oh man, you was a bitch. Like, oh, stop being a bitch. I'm not going to receive that the same way. It's just a word. I'm not going to receive that the same way. Same thing with, I'll go to shows. This is the funniest thing. I had to cut this one right here at his legs. Damn, Curtis, you acting so Hollywood. I'm just on my phone at an event, full of people that, are in their own space. Some of them are smoking. I don't smoke. I'm just on my phone. Damn, man, you acting so Hollywood. And then if I respond and I'm like, yeah, I'm not, what do you, no, I'm not. There's a way to flip that. So there's certain things that people say and it sounds very innocent when they're like, oh, wait a minute. The same thing you said about earlier about like the Harlem niggas. They'd be like, oh, no, it wasn't even that deep.
Yeah.
I think people do that all the time, and that's kind of their weapon to see what they can get away with. And every time you don't say anything about it, they push the line. Some people push the line even further.
Oh yeah. Mark sees that coming. He sees that coming. I gotta fucking tell this nigga, you can't.
He could have also done that early, like he's saying, setting boundaries. Because I feel like I watched the show, so I see Flip will disrespect niggas and then they'll let it slide because everyone's a mature man. Let's also talk about how everybody's 40 plus, right? So you're still a mature, experienced man, and you're like, I ain't trying to fight because that don't make no damn sense. Like, so
I'm sorry. There are grown men on that show.
Here you go.
I'm not sure how many mature niggas there are on that show at all.
You're mature enough. Let me get this up. I'm saying they're grown enough to not want to fight off of first offense and have a threshold. Whereas like a 20-year-old doesn't have a threshold. I know at 20 or my friends at 20, I'm walking down the street with my boy Blue and we're joking down the street. My boy Blue turns around and says, don't I owe you an ass whooping? Walks across the street, beats this nigga's up ass, comes back with us. We start laughing and keep walking like that nigga didn't just get knocked out on the street because don't I owe you an ass whooping? And that's the first time he saw him in like a month. And I'm like, today he wouldn't do that, even though he's a pro boxer, trains as a boxer. Today he wouldn't do that.
Hold on. If you're a professional boxer, you can't go around in the street knocking niggas out.
This is him at like 19, though. You're talking about
was he training as a boxer then?
No, he came in late. He started fighting late.
You're also a professional that's keeping a professional book, and you understand that your debts must be taken care of. He's a professional for crying. I owe you that. Look, I want to give some pushback to that idea of like, when we say this, I know what it means when we say like, oh, I'm a grown ass man. I don't do none of that. But then again, I see some people who say that and then do some shit that could easily be seen as, very young acting or very young behavior in a sense. This whole grown man, LL Cool J had a quote. It's going to sound like it doesn't relate, but I promise it relates. He said, "I'm a good guy. I'm not a nice guy." And he's like, if you see a lady getting her purse robbed, and you punch the dude in the face and break his nose, you're not a nice guy. You're a good guy. And there's a difference. And I feel like in certain situations, although it sounds crazy, me being 40 plus, getting into a physical, I'm trying to figure out how to de-escalate that. I'm not choosing that. But there's some situations you may not have a choice in that matter.
I don't want to say grown or mature. I was saying those words for the actual term I should have used is experienced person. So after you lived in a certain experience, you know that you have data points that how it will go with what actions you take. Whether you make a mature or responsible decision or not, you have this many data points. And I'm saying a lot of these people have this many data points. One person, Queen's Flip, survives and created a brand off of being this prank, exaggeration, hyperbolic version of this crazy street nigga, right? That will just they'll just wow out on you in the street and yell and curse at you and all that type of stuff.
Your space and all that. Yeah.
Exactly. Now he brings that into a podcast space to kind of have that energy, but it also can be looked at as disrespectful. And I see it all the time. I'm like, he'd be like, shut the fuck up, nigga. Don't you ever talk to me like that. That with people that I know, you can't say that to them. I don't care what you say. I don't care where we're at. You just can't say, shut the fuck. Don't you ever fucking talk to me like that. I don't care where we're at. Some people you can't say that to me.
No.
It's not rocking. And you have to understand the people that you're working with. Me personally, from my lived experience, it's like I don't give a damn. It's like something's got to touch family or money for it to be like, extreme, and safety. It's like protecting is where I'm at. But everybody's different.
To your point, being a grown man allows you to also have better discernment and say, I shouldn't have my ass in this. I shouldn't be in this situation to begin with. I know the type of environments where there are people who are itching for an opportunity. Like they're looking for an argument to have with you just so they can like it's so weird. Like they want to fight you so they can touch you. That's freaky.
They want to fight you so they can touch you.
You know what I mean?
Pause on that shit, nigga.
Pause on that.
Real about that though.
I'm like, just say, look, go ahead.
You don't really become an adult until 25. Before that, sociologically, you're a young adult. Your mind, your brain, your brain is not fully formed until 25. So you will make bad decisions, rash decisions before then, which is partly why most people who commit violent crime are under 25, because it's younger people whose brains are not fully formed and they may be dealing with poverty in some way, and they make bad or rash decisions. So yes, after 25, you should be able to make better decisions. Some people like Flip act like they're 25 or less. I'll tell you, and Green is right. Like if you fuck with my wife or my kids, more so than me personally, something will snap and I'll be like, I am ready to fight you. And I'm going to show you that I'm ready to fight you. It would take a lot for me to actually fight somebody. And I was boxing on the low, like other times in my life. I did yoga, I did tennis for a while, I did boxing to try to know how to, so I can throw a punch a little bit. But I am so scared of
you can't throw no punch.
The bars and going to jail for even like 6 hours. I'm like that.
How about icing yourself down for the next 5 days?
If you ever heard me punch somebody, shit went way fucking left, and they did and said some shit to my daughter or my wife that was like next.
All options off the table.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not trying to punch. At the big age of 54, I'm not trying to punch nobody.
I figured out other ways to de-escalate. That's one thing I am proud of myself, is that I've learned sometimes the quickest way to de-escalate a situation, especially when somebody's just going crazy, just be quiet. Let them see that they're having a conversation with themselves, because I know my mouth and I know how much of a smart ass I can be. And sometimes I don't even recognize it in the moment when I'm having these conversations, especially when it's like a debate. So then I have to almost say, okay, recognize not the words they're using, but the energy that they're exuding through these words. That's more important, because you'll find out that at the root of it is you disrespected me and I now feel insecure about a thing. I'm proud of myself escalated, because it's really easy, especially in these hip hop circles and spaces. And I know people don't like your takes, Touré. They hate my takes now that I'm doing content in this space. I see it in their face when they come and talk to me, and it's like, tonight is not one of them nights where we're gonna debate anything. I'm just here as a patron.
It be like that.
I got to go back home. I got to make it back home, and if I come back home with bruises,
emotional intelligence, EQ in general, is such a big thing. Like what you just said is like being able to in the moment express exactly how you feel and still feel like a man would change so many people's lives. I thought this
being able to what?
Being able to communicate exactly how you feel in that moment, and still feel like a man, because that's the part of the masculinity socially. Would change so many people's lives. That's one thing that I appreciate about seeing the growth of Joe Budden of all people on that podcast. Yeah. We're talking about head crash out. In the moment, this nigga will tell somebody, yo, I'm offended by that, or I respect and love you for this, and blah, blah, blah. And it still feels like Joe Budden. And I'm using this because using him because we're talking about that. But that's something that I had to learn from 25, where it's like shit was quiet for me if I felt a certain way. And then it's like being a grown person, I was like, nigga, I just tell you, I didn't like how you said that. That made me feel a certain way.
Yo.
All the ways people said be the bigger man, I never felt like a bigger man doing it they way. I had to figure out what does it actually sound like coming out of my voice. Like, I get what you're saying on paper, but let me actually find a way where I'm like, I'll walk away from that situation and say, you know what? I don't feel like a bitch in this moment now. But when I use their route, oh gosh.
Emotional intelligence is fairly rare among our people, and I'm not saying black people, I'm saying black men, right? Especially within a hip hop context. A lot of us can't name our feelings, can't control our feelings, can't, recognize our feelings. So, I mean, what you said about like, if you can, then you can make, but the first thing they just feel a rush of, because Mark remains aware of, okay, let's both calm down. Not just you calm down, but let's both. I think twice he's like, let's take the energy out of this and have a conversation. So he's aware of his emotions and he's up here. I don't think Flip is really aware of where he is emotionally. Like, the emotion is so loud, it's in his ears, he can't see, he can't hear. I'm emotionally up here. I'm gonna fight with Mark. This is fucking crazy. Mark's like, I'm feeling disrespected. I'm not going to allow that, but I am trying to calm myself and you down. But I'm still drawn. So he's aware of it, but he's not able to control it. Flip has no idea what's happening. For a lot of men, especially, the emotions are like, they ignore their emotions. Like, if you ignore the weather and then you're surprised it's hot, you're surprised it's raining, you're surprised it's cold. Well, did you look at the forecast? Are you aware that there are meteorologists, like therapists, who can talk to you about what's going on? No, that does not. Oh, so then you're having feelings, anger, joy, melancholy, sadness, depression. I don't deal with any of that. I don't know any of that. I can't name
resentment,
envy. It's very hard to be in the world if you are unaware of the feelings that are coming up for you at any given moment and how to deal with them.
Especially if you're hyper focused on just the word itself, right? Especially when we talked about earlier, there's so many different ways that we can perceive what a word means based upon what region we're from, based upon what gender we are. There's all these factors that go into it. But I do think it is important in those situations where you're seeing a Mark Lamont and you're seeing a Queen's Flip to establish, like, this is a trigger word. And I need to establish that we can't move any further until we understand why this is problematic. And I think Queen's Flip did a good job of kind of rerouting that. There's one more point I was going to make about that, though. I think he did a good job of rerouting that. I think there's some people, though, in these situations, especially people who don't know how to use their words, they look at you de-escalating a situation and using your emotional intelligence as an opportunity to ramp up the aggression. And I think that sometimes gets people fucked up. where they look at that and saying, okay, you're telling me now to calm down. I don't want to calm down. Now I need to 10 times it because now I feel like you're telling me what to do or whatever they're perceiving it as. I've seen these situations where it's like you almost need a balance or you said it earlier, the ability to navigate both spaces so that you're sure you're talking the same language to somebody that's in front of you. Because some people look at what you're doing from a place of strength and a place of self-control as a place of weakness or words of weakness based upon the way that you're going about it, I guess.
3,000%. 3,000% agree with that.
Hey, man. Didn't know this conversation was going to go there. You know, when we was in the text and we was talking about doing topics, and I was like,
you didn't love this topic.
I did.
I love this topic.
I mean, you see sometimes how Green loves this topic, and I like it. You're trying to be like, I know about it, and Green's like, no, we doing that shit. That's
yeah. Well, because of this collaboration, I am very open and very open to new formats and trying conversations that this channel doesn't typically see. I'm already curious too in terms of the folks that are in here. I appreciate everybody that is in here. I'm gonna definitely get to the super chats before I end out in here. Are you guys enjoying these collaborations? You enjoying the conversations? I know I am. It seems like y'all are very engaged in what's going on. We didn't get to the other topic. I want to be respectful of y'all time, but any final thoughts or anything like that you got going on, sir, circulating through your brain?
On this or just in general?
Just in general.
Shit.
Because this won't be the last time.
Start talking about some music that people dropping while they dropped 4 hours ago. So,
girl.
Yeah,
Brown Sugar better than Entitled. All right, if that's how you want to call it, okay. I don't agree with that, but I'll that's cool. If that's why you chop it up. That's fine.
Oh, you talking about this one? Brown Sugar Untitled. I think that's when they were giving out an opinion. Shout out to you for the super chat. Black Partner said same as the Chargers.
What? That's Curtis's team too. Who
you say team? Like offices have teams too, right?
Who do you root for in the NFL?
My heart was broken once Michael Vick was out the league. I have not rooted for anybody. Well, that's a lie. My wife is a Steelers fan. She's a bigger football fan than I've ever been. So I'm like by default a Steelers fan. But when Michael Vick was in the league, that's when I was all about it. But ever since,
I mean, Vick was the shit. So you don't fuck with LA football like that.
Whoa.
The Rams?
I don't like the way you spun that. I don't like the way you spun that whole thing. That right there start up a conversation.
The Falcons and the Eagles. We got no. You guys got like 4 teams in Southern California. You don't like none of them? I thought you were going to say my heart was broken when the Raiders left. No. He don't even talk about the fucking Raiders.
No, you know why? Because that whole rivalry between the how about this? The first time I cried at a football game, I was a little kid. My grandpa took me to Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, and it was the Chargers versus I think either the Raiders or the Chiefs. And them wildin' ass fans and spilling beer on my little child head, and I'm like, what's going on? All the makeup on the face, and I was not ready for it. I think I'm still scarred, but
you cried because you were scared of Raiders fans, not because of the
Hell
game.
Yeah! At that time, I was
not a game.
I went to a Chargers, not the game that we love, not the game that I love. I said, I don't want to be here, Grandpa. I said, take me out of here. I don't want to. And the Chargers is probably losing anyways.
Wow.
Who's your team, Touré?
So wait, hold on. I got a similar thing. Hold on. So wait, are you a Dodgers fan?
Absolutely. Okay. I mean that's always for sure.
No, I don't. I rocked with the Jets for a little while, but like in the NFL, I kind of get into players rather than teams. I haven't really like Jets have just been so bad for so long to where it's like, does the organization care? Like if the organization doesn't seem to care, then how am I caring?
Clippers.
I was a Knicks fan when it was Patrick Ewing, but in the wake of losing Ewing and all, it's like, does the team care? I don't think the team.
The Giants was the New York City team.
Huh?
I thought Giants was like the real New Yorker team.
For a lot of people, the Giants is the New Yorker team for sure. And the Jets are second. When I moved to New York, the Giants had a quarterback who had been shipped out of, I believe it was Jacksonville, because he said some racist shit in Jacksonville. So I'm like, why can't I root for the fucking team with the racist quarterback? So I'll rock with the Jets. And then it was like, yeah, but they suck, and they always suck, and they always will suck.
It's so many stories like that exist. I wonder if that's in the playbook. Well, I mean, if you can't get out this contract and can't negotiate it, I can always say some racist shit and move the needle a little bit.
That's a hell of a.
The way that you described the Jets is exactly. He said when the team when it doesn't seem like the team doesn't even care. You just described the Clippers.
So like he said about he really rocks with Vic or rocked with Vic. Yeah, I get into certain players and be like, yo, I fucks with him. I like the way he does his business, the way he fucking carries himself on the field, more so than any of these in the NFL.
Right. It can always be worse, no matter who your team is. You could be a Clippers fan. That's the quote of the day today. I didn't know those existed, but thank you, Touré, for that introduction. Round of applause.
Crystal online too.
You said what?
Billy Crystal online too.
But I mean, like,
a fucking celebrity fan.
Maybe he's like a fan of the experience of going to a professional basketball game. There's a lot of those. Like, have you ever been to a Harlem Globetrotters game? That's a rant for another day. It would piss me off when I went there. I didn't go there in their heyday. I went to it was a sports arena, I think I went to. No, the Honda Center. I didn't know that they did voiceovers. I didn't know that they planned every basketball move. I thought it was a real game that was happening. And when I saw somebody
it's the WWE of basketball.
When I saw them lip syncing, man, give me that ball. Throw it up in the air. And then it made a rocket sound. It said, as he dunked the ball, I said, I took a date. I said, I'm too damn grown for this shit. Now, what the hell is
I saw Meadowlark Lemon and Curly Neal when I was about 10. I believe that was in the Garden in Boston. And I was a fan before. I was the one out of my family who was like, I want to see the Globetrotters. And my dad took all of us. They were fun as fuck. Because you don't even fully get the Globetrotter thing, because basketball used to be much more, let's say, staid and pro forma and like more Larry Bird vibe than Magic vibe, or the way that we played the game. So they brought this whole energy that the and one revolution makes them look silly, right? The and one one is in the NBA now, the vibe of and one. But like before that shit, it was like, that's exciting basketball. We know it's a performance, but that's exciting basketball sometimes more than the NBA at that stage. But now it would not make sense to you.
Two things. One, NFL, Patriots, the best team of all time. Second thing, do not say that Larry Bird had no sauce. That was the most sauce-having ass white man that existed from white Americans. Is that the word you want to land on?
Is that the word you want to land on before we end this podcast? Sauce.
I mean,
the most sauce.
No, I mean, I grew up a Celtics fan for sure. I mean, I don't know if we ever talked about this. I did a television commercial with Larry Bird when I was in third grade.
Look at the time, guys. Look at the time. Like this
this is still going on. Larry Bird. Larry Bird.
I fucks with Larry Bird. I'm just trying to give a vision of the NBA used to be less, let's say, saucy, less and one-y, less.
We used to be men. We used to be men.
We used to bounce passes and Tim Duncan vibes. And now it's fucking Kyrie vibes. And one is in the fucking league.
We used to
so
shoot
the Globetrotters look, anachronistic. They look silly because we're already doing that shit.
We used to have bounce passes. That's the second quotable. The first one is peekaboo was in his heart.
They don't. Whitney Houston's don't grow on trees.
No, that's another one. You got all the quotables today.
All man. Casper. Oh, that nigga Casper.
Call him Casper. No,
Casper.
man.
We didn't even get to Grand Mal Seizure today.
Oh yeah, like that one can wait. That one can wait, honestly, because it's going to be another development before then. Or there's no update on that.
These niggas, Rory and Mal, went on the air they did not know it was a defamation suit. They just started talking about the lawsuit without being aware of what it actually was. These dumb fucking niggas. And put it out that I said Rory and Mal are dumb fucking niggas who go on the fucking air and talk about the fucking lawsuit without even knowing what's in it. That's the dumbest shit I've ever fucking seen.
I was trying to be respectful of y'all time.
No, we can talk about this.
You got time? You got time?
I'm hungry, but what's popping?
Look, I mean, this could be a quick one. It's funny. I was about to rap. Look, I was trying to, be on the same time in his rap latte. But it did come out after the lawsuit got dismissed. Drake's lawsuit against UMG got dismissed. People started bringing up videos, for instance, from Rory, where I couldn't find a video real quick here, but basically he did a live stream after it first was announced that the lawsuit was happening. And he kind of had the tone that was like, okay, guys, I know this is bad. This is not hip hop and all of that, but we got to really get deeper and understand, like, there are some things going behind the scenes. And this could actually be really good for independent artists. And they started painting Drake as being I call him Talcum X. Yeah, they started painting him as maybe this lawsuit is actually for the betterment of all artists, and he's going to be a martyr by going up against UMG. And then we found out that wasn't the thing. So
we already have a Talcum X. Sean King is Talcum X. You just transfer the nickname to somebody.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
So here's him. Here's Rory saying, like, it's a 30-second clip. I didn't have all the details, but that's why I did what I did.
That video of me speaking about the case, maybe 30 minutes after just the announcement came out. Like,
first problem
was just speculating of what we knew at that time, which was nothing.
Right.
And that video, they have positioned like I said it yesterday.
Yeah.
I had no information like anyone else. We were all speculating.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't know what the case is. At this point, defamation wasn't even in the case.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is interesting. They have ran that clip to the ground. Like,
I know the original clip. It was on his Instagram. Hold on, let me talk about that. What he just said right there is fucking bullshit. Because I remember thinking about that. He posted a clip on Instagram saying that this lawsuit is really about how record companies are offering a 30% decline in your percentages of royalties versus someone else can't get that option or some bullshit like that. And he made that shit up like it's an actual fact. Now people are calling him out for it, and he's gonna be like, people are acting like I said that yesterday. I had the same information you did. I knew that was fucking stupid, and I even commented on the post. He must have took down the post. That shit was dumb yesterday. It was dumb today. It will be dumb tomorrow. Because he
was trying to parent the internet and tell them, like, hey, everybody, I know everybody's excited, but let's calm down. Let them cook.
Yeah.
Let Drake cook.
You can see.
Let Drake cook. Let Drake cook. It just doesn't. And here's the thing about
that clip that he did not know anything and yet went on the air and talked about it.
30 minutes later.
Didn't they get like 10 mil or some shit to do this stupid fucking show? So you're a professional broadcaster for years and you turned on the camera knowing I know nothing about the subject. Nobody was saying you have to go on right now. It's the internet. You could have gone on 15 minutes later and just read up on what we're fucking talking about. He said defamation wasn't part of it. You moron. It was always a defamation lawsuit. You
always
saying I knew nothing. I was ignorant, and yet I went out and talked about it.
That was a petition at first.
This is proof that nobody should ever listen to Rory and Mal because they might go and say something when they know I have no idea what I'm talking about.
What did Dave Chappelle
money don't make you smart.
Wait. What did Dave Chappelle say? He said, I wonder what Ja Rule thinks about all of this is going on right now. I feel like it's the same scenario. I wonder what Rory has to say, the voice of reason and all of this going on. I wonder how he's reading this lawsuit. There's no way this could be anti-hip-hop. I gotta hear from Rory.
And go play Grand Mal Seizure and his dumbass shit. Because whatever Rory said, Grand Mal Seizure is gonna say something dumb.
So he in this video right here, it's a minute long. He alludes that we're just getting started. Like that's this is the new round 2, and now we're escalating to round 3, and that the appeal still has to happen. And he feels like they're far from done, even though the judge did a really great job of explaining why there's no case.
So you're not going to be able to like appeal and have, but go ahead, run that.
Because I haven't really talked to many people about this, but it's not. I mean, the people have to know that his lawyer, his team, they're going to appeal this and take this to another level.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't know if people know that. Like, this is not. Of course, this is not over.
You don't know that.
Should we just let it go?
No, yes. See, no, no.
At this point,
no. Why? But would you? If you and your team, your lawyers had things in your possession that prove what you're saying is correct.
Why wouldn't? And I'm not saying that
you don't.
If you had that, wouldn't you have presented that?
Of course you would have.
In the lawsuit.
You don't have anything that proves it. You would have already fucking presented that. But the judge dismissed it because your whole legal theory is completely flawed and bullshit. There's no evidence that will then make your legal theory work. She said, you can't take some shit from a song when you two were spitting at each other and say that's defamation. So there's no proof that's going to prove this. Like you could.
Let me play the last 30 seconds before he make you bust a blood vessel. It's getting worse.
Yeah, I got some.
That's why the appeal process exists. Didn't they reveal everything? Because that was also something I saw on the OVO stand side of like, nah, he purposely was trying to lose the first one so he could reveal more. And I was like, well, why wouldn't he just?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not speaking to shit. I'm speaking to factual shit, like real things. Like I don't. This is not.
You know what sounds really familiar about him saying, I'm speaking of facts. I'm speaking of factual. That sounds like Heart Part 6 by Drake. One time for myself. Let me cook. It sounds like what he said at the end of that. He said that last song was a bop. Like, I'll probably dance to it if it wasn't for
Only a MAGA ass nigga would talk like this. It's like when you talk about shit with such conviction with no actual facts or actual data to prove what you're saying. You didn't say anything. I'm speaking the facts. That means nothing. Well, here's a fact that less than 10% of defamation cases get appeals approved. And when they get approved, it's not even substantial. It usually still doesn't deal with everything within the case. This is a fucking dub. That nigga lost.
But I don't understand. He started with saying, I haven't talked to many people about it. That means I've talked to no one. Okay.
He got a text message from one person.
Somehow he knows that the lawyers have more information that they can put forward. How do you know that?
Because the source is Drake text message. It's the same text message that he sent over to academics when he said, Iceman's going to be a classic. Let them know.
Stay on stream.
Oh, the course is not over. Yeah, stay on stream. The course is not. Look. The lawsuit's not over. It's getting started.
I mean,
you share that?
I don't understand. When you go into the public square as a writer, as a broadcaster, you put some shit out on the internet, you are risking making a fool of yourself because this shit is forever and people will see the shit and they are waiting to say, aha, you were wrong. You said that and you were fucking wrong. So you both are jumping out the window knowing I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm going to say some shit that is complete bullshit. Do you have that little respect for your audience that you're willing to say things that you know are that I didn't do any research, but I know what's going to happen next in this lawsuit. Are you even a lawyer?
Why would you risk your brand like that? You don't
brand. There is no brand. There is no brand. This is on brand. Saying stupid shit without any information. This is completely on brand.
Oh my gosh.
So you got the last 30 seconds of the shit?
The last 30 seconds. But I wanted to bring this tweet up. I'll just bring up this tweet up because someone made some points. I'm going to say responsibly, I am not a lawyer. I did not pass the bar. But there were some points here that I did see other people kind of echoing, right? I know a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I ain't passed the ball, but I know a little bit. Someone here, Wesley_theory says, new evidence cannot be presented during the appeal.
Exactly.
Okay. Judge clearly stated that even if bots or payola were used, his lawyers would have to show how it affected consumers negatively. Is that check to you?
He presented no evidence, just hearsay, which is in her document to close the case. Can we hear the last 30 seconds of Grand Mal Seizure making a fool of himself?
No, that was the last 30 seconds. He only had like 3 seconds left after that. He basically was saying that he's relying on facts. And he was really responding to the narrative that I guess some OVO fans out there have of this was part of the plan to prove that Drake is not a PDF, which there's other ways to prove that instead of trying to go have a lawsuit with UMG.
No one would, it's beyond stupid to suggest that you would purposely lose the initial crack at it so that somehow you would win on appeal, and then what? Why would you do that? Who would do that? That's a fucking stupid
You gotta
theory.
call people fucking liars and dumbasses. Like, you're lying. You're a dumbass. It's just that
you're a sucker. Simple. That's some sucker shit.
Are we talking or we potted? Are we talking or we potted?
I just want to say is like this shit happened with Sarah. I don't know, and like Sarah Palin, and I saw because I did some research. Sarah Palin in New York Times in 2022. She lost that defamation case. She tried to appeal it. They were like, "What the fuck are you talking about? This is with the New York Times. We talk shit about people. This is what we do. We just talk about people. You're a public person. This is the same thing with music. You are a rapper. Rappers do rap battles historically. That's evidence that this happened before and nothing happened to people's character or their brand. So you have years of battle rap to be like, Ja Rule can't go to fucking 50 Cent. These niggas, Jay-Z and Nas, Jay-Z still became a billionaire after a battle. So what are you saying? It doesn't actually mean shit. You guys are just using words the way you feel like, without any facts and examples and data to prove what you're trying to say. You're a fucking liar.
Not you saying the judge said niggas get shot every day. You be all right, B.
Yeah. Niggas get shot every day, B.
Niggas get shot every day, B.
Yeah, be all right. Be all right. It's just a rap battle. Be all right. Go walk it off.
He really did say niggas get shot every day, B.
That's what the judge said.
He really did.
Either way, the judge does not have a better understanding of how these rap battles work than the person that said on record, "I study rap battles for a living." You might have predicted it would go here, wouldn't you?
Judge said, "Whoop-de-doo."
When I said this to you, Curtis, when I did a whole video on it, and somebody said the judge had to explain. This is from my comments. Number one, a judge had to explain how rap beef works to Drake. Comment 2, and Drake studies rap battles for a living. Comment 3, he failed that class.
There we go. There you go. There you go.
Drake versus Ja Rule versus.
He studied enough. He studied like Bob in the fucking one battle after another. I don't remember this part.
I know that kind of studying. When
that hard, like
what part of the lesson plan was this?
Part of that.
My God, dear Adonis.
Not like us. I didn't know he could say that. Who is us? Who is us?
I could have used this information during the battle. I didn't know I can get away with that. I would have said more.
Adonis, I'm very sorry that man's your father.
Oh man.
Oh God. That was fun.
Wow.
That was fun, man. Shout out to y'all once again. I appreciate y'all as always. This is a consistent thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that y'all are enjoying it. I'm enjoying these conversations with y'all. In the description, you can find their channel, but based upon the analytics, y'all are already subscribed. I'm just reminding you in case you're not. Go ahead and subscribe to Rap Latte. And yeah.
Let's do it.
Ja Rule went through this, so we would have to deal with this.
Ja Rule walked, so you would have to run.
Y'all didn't put no lawsuit out there. Ja put 8 songs together on an album and diss all everybody. 50 Cent, G Unit. Gonna put some respect on Ja's name, man.
Everybody.
How come everybody just doesn't like? I'm gonna buy up like 1,000 tickets of that nigga's concert and not show up. I'm gonna buy. Why don't everybody should do
why?
that? Because
we live in a time period where you go like this. What's going on, TikTok? So you see these empty seats right here? Most people would probably be embarrassed, but I'll tell you what happened. Here's the dark truth. And they start playing that controversy music, behind the scenes music, and they were like, 50 Cent bought all these tickets here because he doesn't have anything to do with his time. People can flip shit now. It ain't the same kind of sting that it used to have.
Flip everything. Except for when Cameron did it to Omar.
I was
the actor. That shit was fucking hilarious.
Pitiful. But you know what's crazy? Omar Gooden gave him more bars than Cam was willing to give back to him. He's still releasing songs.
Oh my god. Cam don't need to be. Cam don't need to do that. This man said, "Clap back, slapped." Clap back, slapped. Like the song "Clap Back." We gonna clap back. We gonna clap back. We gonna clap back. I hated that whole era.
Man. All right, we out of here, y'all. Appreciate y'all once again.
We gonna clap back.
DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.